Welcome to episode 4. You heard me right, 4 of the Blue Chip Recruits podcast. I'm joined once again by Camden, Logan, and a new voice has joined us today, Eli. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Having a great time this week so far. So we're excited for Thanksgiving next week.
Oh, yes. I just need to go home for a bit, man.
Yeah, that point of semester, I'm just worn out.
Yeah,
just beat down, you know.
It's tiring day after day,
Yeah.
just trying to find some kind of motivation. But last weekend in college football, pretty big weekend. Lots of huge games that went down. Camden, I want to start with you first. Give me a couple that you want to talk about.
I think you got to talk about the A&M South Carolina
I was
game.
about to say that one is by far going to be the most popular answer for that.
Just what I was just wondering, what did Mike Elko say at halftime to propel that team to a 27-point comeback? I mean,
What did Shane Beamer say
Yeah,
at
no
halftime
kid-
to
no
demotivate?
kidding.
Well,
no kidding.
Shane Beamer was already celebrating going to the locker room. Did you guys see that video?
Yeah, and then he
Hands
said
up cheering.
and then he said in the post game something about like we didn't want to I didn't want to get on them and let them celebrate it. And then they're like, dude, there's videos of you celebrating going into half.
Yeah.
So funny. Had the whole cop incident right
Yeah,
before
about to say,
that.
what-
Dude,
what was up
that
with the
cop
police
genuinely, that might have been the moment where it flipped for Texas A&M.
He instilled the energy back in them boys.
Yeah.
Let them know you cannot just come into our house and do that.
There's not going to be a lot of positives said about South Carolina in that game. That play, a 10-yard hitch route turns into an 80-yard touchdown. Nick Harbor is just ridiculous.
Yeah. And I think if you want to the defense played really well in the first half. And their run defense was consistent throughout the whole game. They held A&M to 64 rushing yards, which is kind of crazy for an A&M team that's been pretty good on the ground so far this year.
Yeah, they forced a lot of turnovers from Marcel Reed, too. Part of that was just him not looking great, but
Yeah.
whatever happened in the second half, a completely different quarterback.
That last interception, the one in the red zone, where he's trying to find the guy in the back corner, it's not even close to the receiver. He threw it straight to the DB. And then he came out in the second half and played probably his best football as a quarterback this season.
So good. Oh, my gosh.
That second half was more of what we have expected from Marcel Reed this season. I just don't know who came out and played in that first half. That just was – it didn't look like Marcel Reed at all.
No.
I mean, I feel like, you know, this is a different A&M team. A&M teams of the past would have never come back from that.
No, A&M
you know?
teams, especially under
Yeah.
Jimbo Fisher, would have taken that line down.
Exactly. I think I remember whoever was calling the game, they were like, you know, we need a statement here, you know, for the college football playoff to look at this and be like, oh, this is a different A&M team, like they're actually legit. And I mean, they
brought it.
Marcel Reed is so much aura. Oh my gosh.
Ridiculous amount.
All right, Logan, hit me with the game.
I feel like the second biggest story coming out of the weekend is Oklahoma going into Bryant-Denny, upsetting Alabama.
I will say I was completely wrong on that one.
Yeah. I feel like we might have mentioned this last week, and I was like, oh, yeah, Oklahoma's done. I might have said that Oklahoma's out of the playoff after last weekend, which, like, now it's like it's going to be hard to keep them out.
Yeah, it's amongst the best wins out of anybody has this season.
And, I mean, the scary thing is, like, they haven't put together a complete game since the Mateer hand injury.
Mm-hmm.
Still, like, Mateer did not look good. Running offense still somehow worse than the passing offense. But, I mean, like, the front seven is just – and I think it's the best front seven in college football. I think it's debatable. I think Ohio State and Texas Tech both have strong arguments for that claim. But I like the Oklahoma secondary is like quietly not great. It's not that it's bad, but it's like none of those guys like jump out on paper as like an elite cover guy or elite at breaking up passes. But like the front seven is just so dominant, and that's probably the most pressure I've seen Ty Simpson under the entire season.
Yeah. I mean, that, like you said, like that front seven continuing to just absolutely wreak havoc on O-lines. Alabama outgained Oklahoma 406 to 212. Outgained them by almost 200 more yards and still somehow lost.
Or say, didn't we do that too? I want to say it wasn't by that
Yeah.
degree,
Yeah.
but Tennessee also outgained Oklahoma.
That,
as well.
it's happened a lot to Oklahoma this year.
Well, I remember looking back that Oklahoma-Auburn game. I mean, Oklahoma had eight or nine sacks in the game. I mean, their front seven is ridiculous. I mean, they're just a bunch of monsters.
Yeah, I think the stat that the broadcast said was that going into that game, Alabama was +10 in turnover differential and was 4th best in the country. 3 turnovers by Alabama, 0 by the Oklahoma offense. So not only Alabama's been a team that not only doesn't turn the ball over but causes turnovers, and they did neither in this game. Mateer wasn't great, but he was conservative with his plays. He didn't make any bad attempts. Was a little more sure-handed whenever he was under pressure. And then Simpson lost a really bad one on a fumble where he just got blown up. And then the pick was also just really one of his worst plays of the season.
I mean, I want to talk about the defense again. This is back-to-back weeks. Oklahoma's had a defensive touchdown by the end of the game. That 7 points is essentially won them the game. The old proverb of college football is defense wins championships. Oklahoma's defense has looked so good to the point that I'm starting to consider they could make a run if Mateer can just get it going. Ish, back to what it was at the beginning of the year.
I mean, you don't even need to get it back to the beginning of the year. He just
even.
needs to get, he is right now a
Three-quarters of the way
below-average quarterback. Like, right now, he's just playing, we all know he's got the talent to be better than this. If he could get back to where he's throwing for at least 200 yards a game would be nice. Maybe a couple touchdowns. Even then, you don't even have to throw touchdowns. Just get the offense moving down the field more efficiently.
Don't turn the ball
in any
over.
respect. Don't turn the ball over. As far as turnovers are concerned, it's the best he's looked all year. He was really, really conservative with his passes, but not in a way that held the team back from moving the ball downfield. I thought it was a great game for Mateer. If you just ignore the numbers and aren't trying to be like, oh, well, he had this many yards. That I thought Mateer looked fine, but he only had to look fine to win this game. He did exactly what he needed to do to win.
And even to your point of if Oklahoma can get it together on offense, they haven't scored more than 30 points against the Power 4 team except for Tennessee,
Whose defense is really bad.
whose defense is
Really
terrible.
bad.
They scored 23 against Bama, 26 against Ole Miss, 26 against South Carolina, 24 against Auburn, 24 against Michigan. Their offense isn't good, isn't dominant by any means. But it's just that defense that keeps them in every single game.
It's kind of like Auburn, but they win football games.
Yeah, exactly. It's like one of those things. Eventually, I think you're going to run into a team that can, score more points in your defense. So, to John Mateer's, you got to make, you got to score. You got to score more points. Because their defense is so special. You got to just give them just maybe a little
Help
bit,
them out
a little bit more help.
bit.
Exactly. I was 10 more points a game, and they could win the whole thing. But. I'm worried about, if they go run into an Ohio State or a team like that can really kind of attack you on defense. It's just somebody Ohio State last year they just kind of ran through everybody. I'm just, this Oklahoma defense is so special. You just want a little bit more help.
Yeah. Feel the same way about Tennessee's defense last year. I could see where you were going with the Ohio State. Was that it was that defense. I still hate Tim Banks. But Tim Banks did a decent job last year, given the talent, and the offense just couldn't help him.
It would have been
out.
hard to do a bad job with the amount of talent on that defense, but
besides the point,
hate for a good defense to go to waste because it's something you don't see very often anymore.
Oklahoma's games right now feel like if somebody breaks the 21-point barrier, that's who wins the game.
Yeah,
that's if you get to 22 games over, you got it. But
no, that's what I mean. Whenever Oklahoma went up on us, kind of towards the end, it was I remember in the stands of the game, me and my buddies this game's over. This is the first time Oklahoma scored more than 30 points. It's just this is we gave up this many points to Oklahoma's offense. We're toast.
Wasn't even really their offense. I mean, 7 of it came from
that
fumble, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That was the play.
Yeah,
and
he ripped it right out of Joe's hands.
David Sanders.
Missed assignment. Rough game.
It's hard not to have a rough game against Oklahoma again.
True freshman. Not a great first introduction.
That was a bad clip.
Well, I want to talk about a different game. This one, Group of 5, as I have tend to do in the past. But it was going to be with the team that was in the college football playoff last weekend, is well out of it now. USF falling to Navy. That is by far the worst the USF defense has looked all year. Navy had 524 yards of offense, including nearly 200 passing yards.
Unheard of.
How do you give up 200 passing yards to Navy?
Here's the worst part about giving up that many yards. It was on 10 completions. They gave up 18.6 yards per pass to Navy.
Brent Horvath went out, and then the backup came in and threw 40 yards. I mean, you can't allow this to happen.
What year are we in where Navy's throwing more
Navy's
than
just
4 times in a
slinging
game?
it out there?
Dude, I will say
18 attempts.
Like, that's insane.
18 attempts.
I mean, the days of the Army-Navy game where it's just the read option versus the triple option the entire game. It's just a different team.
Just killing the game we grew up on.
just slightly.
What happened
I mean,
to the game that I love?
they still have the beautiful bald fullback over there, Alex Texa, who's had like 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. 1 receiving touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown, and then a different running back go for 185 total yards.
He had a 76-yard touchdown run in the first quarter.
I think it was the first drive of the game.
Yeah.
On like 3rd and 9, they ran the ball. Classic Navy, and they scored.
You just can't allow that to happen. I mean, not only did Navy dominate the time of possession in this one, they had 35 minutes compared to USF's 25. USF turned the ball over a few times, and you can't afford to do that against Navy because Navy will just run the clock.
They'll make you pay.
Yeah,
sure.
Make you pay for sure. I mean, I'm looking through these stats right now. Navy forced a fumble. You can't have that. You got a pick. Just no point in this game did it look like USF could have won. They didn't hold the lead ever. They tried to come back there late, had a 41-yard touchdown catch, and then got the 2-point conversion, but nothing happened after that. Fall by 3. Eli, you have any game you want to talk about?
Yeah, Texas, Georgia. I think that was one. I feel like, I don't know why, but this Texas team just gets so much coverage. I mean, obviously it's Texas, big brand, but like after beating Vanderbilt, everyone's like, oh, Texas is back. Like they could be a 2-loss team. They can make the playoff, And like this Georgia team, I don't know. A lot of people, I've just heard all throughout the season, like kind of nitpicking them, like, oh, this is a weaker Georgia team. This isn't the same Georgia, like, with Stetson Bennett or even Carson Beck. And, again, like Arch Manning, just disappointing, Like he just lacks, I don't know what it is, but he lacks it, like
They couldn't put it better.
It's literally just like an it factor thing. You're not if your team is playing Arch Manning, you aren't scared of when he drops back to pass.
No.
I think that's what he's going for with he lacks it.
Yeah, no, that's like, I mean, almost 20 incompletions, 250 yards, but, only 1 touchdown, throw a pick. It's just, he's just been so disappointing. And it's Texas team in general has been disappointing. Like the amount of talent they have on that team, and after, the loss to Florida is like, oh, the season's over. Then they kind of bounce back like, okay, they could go on a run here. They're still very talented, if they just put the pieces together. And they just can't, And then all of a sudden, the top headline on ESPN today is Sarkisian talking about, oh, I'm not leaving, like all this stuff. It's like all of a sudden we're talking about, a coaching change for Texas. Like it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, and I will say, Georgia's just good.
Yeah,
Georgia's good.
The defense is coming around after being not so great the first few weeks of the season.
I would say that the pass rush was a lot better than it usually is. Like I know their pass rush has been a big problem this year. Their pass rush was great this weekend. Like, I think as long as Kirby Smart's there, they're going to be good.
Dude, he coached circles around Sarkisian in that game.
Yeah.
That is probably the most noticeable difference of coaching in a game I've seen this year.
Yeah.
It was like the onside kick obviously is where like that's where that comes from. It's like Kirby having the gusto to go for that. Like if it doesn't work, I know your defense is playing well, but if it doesn't work, you're giving Texas a pretty solid chance to score. And instead they get it back and just that's the game. The game's over as soon as they recover that onside kick. Just a great call from Kirby who just all night he had Sark's number.
I mean, and I think it brings into question in the big picture, like, is Arch Manning your guy for Texas? Next year, is he still going to be the quarterback?
You got to start looking around.
You know,
you got to.
I know
He's had two good
yeah.
games. He has two good-ish games, one against a horrific Vanderbilt defense.
Yep.
So I'd say move on.
So I know Sark is, sticking with his quarterback, which is in the season. That's the only, it's the right thing to do. But I'm sure behind closed doors, there's a lot of people kind of like, okay, he might not be like his uncles, It's unfortunate, any Manning I'm going to root for, but he just, I don't know.
Did you see the video of Marshall critiquing him to Peyton in the stands?
No, I didn't see that.
It's so funny. I don't remember what happened before because I didn't watch this game, but something I remember reading it. Something happened before, and it's just like Marshall leaning into Peyton's ear and talking about like what he did wrong. It's so funny.
Maybe Marshall's the man. Get Heupel down there, Chattanooga.
Sorry.
I just, like I said, Arch has just been disappointing. This Texas team's been disappointing. I mean, last
Texas
year,
has been so
going into this season. I mean, they're like, Texas is one of the odds-on favorites to win it all. I mean, and 10 games into the year, they have three.
Like coming into the year, like I think Texas, Penn State were like they were the top two teams.
1 and 2,
Yeah, they were the top two
And
teams.
also had teams like LSU and Clemson.
Yeah, LSU and Clemson.
Dude,
Lee Corso's final game day pick before the headgear pick was a Penn State LSU natty. So, not going out great.
Dude, I was so high on Clemson this year. I just, I don't know what went over me, but I love Kate Klubnik, and I was like, oh,
I think it was that they've got like 19 starters returning thing. I was like, they were decent last year.
How talented their defense is.
Yeah, I mean T.J. Parker, Peter Woods,
Sammy Brown,
Avion Terrell. Like we're talking like that. That's 3 first-round picks in the upcoming draft. Peter Woods, T.J. Parker, Avion Terrell, and
forgot they lacked a run game.
Or an offensive line in general. Apparently,
a good team.
Despite this, picked up a really big win over Louisville this weekend or on Friday.
That did happen, and it really did improve Tennessee's minuscule chances. So amongst the several things that the Vols needed, the Oklahoma winning over Alabama did not need to happen for Tennessee to make
really
it in.
hurt.
Not at all. But Clemson tried. I don't know if y'all watched it. Clemson tried everything to lose that game, and Louisville was like,
"Sounds like Clemson."
And Louisville was like, "I don't want to win." They just, I mean, it was that second half was not good football.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was also watching. It's just like it's one of those games where like. Even though 20-19 doesn't sound bad, it was a brutal. The fourth quarter was really bad.
I did not watch.
I mean, I'm looking at a 20-19 final. That doesn't excite me at all.
I mean, like 20-19 isn't terrible sounding, but
how'd
like
you get to the 19. That's my.
I think was it a
they missed a PAT.
Yeah, they missed a PAT.
Oh my God.
Somebody messed up somewhere in order to score 19.
But like I mean, just even like just looking at some of the team stats, Clemson was 1 for 13 on third down. They won. 2 for 11 was Louisville. Neither team. I mean, both teams had around 200 passing yards. Louisville a little over, Clemson a little under. It was just it was such an ugly game of football. Louisville was penalized 10 times for almost 100 yards. Just the most disgusting second half of football.
Yeah. They doinked a PAT in the first quarter, in the second quarter.
Not the doink.
And that was the deciding factor.
Yeah, that's
I believe the kicker missed one in the fourth too, right? Louisville's kicker
missed a field goal. Yeah, he missed 2 field goals. Or that's right. The kicker who missed the PAT missed a field goal early in the fourth quarter, and then they brought in their backup, and he missed one later in the fourth quarter.
I'm seeing like shadow of the future of Max Gilbert in the swamp.
I don't want to think about that right now.
I don't want to either, but it's like I could see the edits in my head already. They're there. I can't get rid of them.
Every time Max Gilbert steps out to kick, he looks scared out of his mind.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys noticed that on the TV games.
He looks 12 and he's scared out of his mind,
like wide-eyed. Just his face is just like white. I mean, it's just like, man, this guy does not have the clutch factor at all.
No, not at all.
this loss for Louisville eliminated their chances to make the ACC championship.
Yeah.
Eliminated any sliver of hope that they wanted to make the playoff. So just kind of really devastating.
And really, I want to touch on the strong thing there. It damaged James Madison's chance to make the playoff due to that one loss they have to Louisville. Louisville was supposed to be good for the rest of the year, look decent enough to where James Madison can push into the playoffs, but now tough loss there has Tulane in currently, even though they got boat raced by UTSA. They don't lose at home, but
I don't want to see Jake Retzloff in the playoff.
Even though their head coach is openly like, we do not deserve to be in the top 25. Why are we in the top 25? We are terrible.
Currently going to jobs, trying to find a
big
new
locker
job.
room guy.
Yeah, oh my God.
I want to stick in the ACC for the next one. Georgia Tech went to Boston College. 1-10 Boston College. And had somehow one of the more entertaining games of the week. 36-34, Georgia Tech won. Georgia Tech as an away team is just terrible. I don't know what it is.
Georgia Tech's going to have an entertaining game every week. That is just what their brand of football is this year.
They're going to play it close.
I mean, like, no shocker. Haynes King, great game. Only threw for one touchdown. It's just like, I would imagine, I didn't check, sadly, these are a bunch of season highs for Boston College's offense. 362 passing yards, zero chance Lonergan has had 362 yards this year.
And honestly, you can't help but feel bad for Boston College because they had the game in their hands. It was senior night for Boston College. They had it. They're 0-6, 1-9 going into this game, and they have a chance to basically almost eliminate Georgia Tech's chances of making.
Oh, they lose this game, Georgia Tech.
That is by far.
They're already pushed down to number 16 for having the gall to lose to NC State as bad as they did.
Yeah, and you lose that game, and you win. Boston College wins that game. They ruin Georgia Tech's chances. They have the game in their hands, and then they just couldn't finish.
Okay, Logan. Second most passing yards, second most rushing yards. They had more passing yards against Michigan State in a double overtime loss and had more rushing yards against Cal in a 4-point loss. So not season highs, but they're up there. And I do want to say their one win has come against FCS Fordham.
66-10.
Yeah. Not even a FBS victory for the Eagles this
Worst
year.
Power 4 team? Question mark?
Oklahoma State's still worse.
They're up there.
I think Oklahoma State is still worse.
Oklahoma State
would have lost this game by 70. You send Georgia Tech to Oklahoma State, it's not going to be close.
That's right.
They've started a wide receiver at quarterback parts of this year, so
That's true. Very true.
But like Camden was saying, like the fourth quarter, Georgia Tech scored 19, Boston College scored 6. They had the game in their hands pretty much the whole game. They went into the first quarter at a deficit. It was tied at half, and then the third quarter they just jumped on top of them. And then the fourth quarter, the team you'd seen the previous 3 quarters was gone. It just disappeared. Bill O'Brien, this is the only time his offense has looked good all year, and it still didn't matter. The defense is so bad.
Not good.
Not at all.
They're just going to be in a duke it out type situation the rest of the year versus everybody they play. They play Georgia. Who else do they play? Is that their last game?
Georgia is rivalry week, so I'm assuming Georgia Tech has one more. But I know, they play Pitt this weekend.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a fight.
I think
2 bad defenses, 2 really fun offenses.
Defenses.
And I think that's a great segue into.
Oh, you read my mind, Camden. You can take that one if you want.
A great segue into a little preview for next week. Georgia Tech Pitt. That game, I mean, winner of that is going to be in the ACC championship, barring last week collapse. Pitt does play Miami last week, which does.
Pitt has a really hard and has had a really hard end to their ACC schedule.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm excited to tune into that game. When is it? What time is it?
7 p.m.
It's a primetime game.
7 p.m. I will probably be watching that one over the Tennessee-Florida game. I won't lie, because this game just holds a lot more in it.
Just two teams that like to score and give
Just-
up a lot
yeah.
of points.
Yeah.
37 points per game for Pitt, 36 for Georgia Tech, 23 allowed for Pitt, 24 allowed for Tech. Just not good defenses, great offenses. Georgia Tech averaging nearly 500 yards of total yards on offense, and Pitt having 400, but both teams giving up 300 plus. It's just not good.
Ugh.
Not good.
Ugh.
Pitt averages almost 2 turnovers a game. But they average 2 takeaways a game, too.
Hey, nets out to 0.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Turnovers don't matter if you get them back.
True, but just absolutely wild.
Dude. Oh, well, you know what? I'm sorry. Before we continue with the preview, we didn't even mention that Michigan almost lost to Northwestern. Just real quick.
Big Ten was
Walk-off field goal.
Dude.
Big Ten was Big Tenning this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much to read into it. Michigan just played really badly.
I want to say that game was played at Wrigley.
Yeah.
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 Is that where Northwestern usually plays?
That's where they're playing the rest of the year.
Because
though.
I caught the
Yeah.
last 10 minutes of that game. I was like, man, this looks a lot like a baseball stadium. You know what I'm saying?
This looks
I
kinda
guess it
weird.
was.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really have much more to read into it. Just like Michigan, what were you doing? But yeah. Anyways, Pittsburgh and Georgia Tech. I think whatever small, tiny, minuscule chance that Haynes King has left at a Heisman run, this is the game where it would happen.
I mean, they do still play Georgia.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. But I'm
He
saying
needs to perform well here to even have a chance.
the stat farming game that matters.
Yeah.
Like the game where Pittsburgh's a good team, even though they're not ranked anymore. If Georgia Tech goes out there and Haynes King has 700 total yards, which is really possible. That sounds like a lot. I know. Just saying that he passes for 400 and rushes for 150 every week, guys. So if Haynes King goes out there and has an insane game, there is some way he finds himself back in that conversation. But I got to be honest, I think Mendoza kind of has it wrapped up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Heisman moment would need to come against beating Georgia.
Oh yeah.
But
I
he'd
think-
have to look good beforehand, too, in this week, which I think is very possible he does. But I think he's too far down the list at this point.
Bright side
make
is this
some
is a
noise.
more talented Tech team than last year, and it's at Georgia Tech.
It's at
the Georgia
it's in the
game is at
It's
Georgia.
in Mercedes Benz.
Oh, is it? Oh,
They
dude.
moved it. They
They
moved
did?
it. Yeah.
Why?
I know it's so awful.
You had to play at Georgia last year, and now you agree to a neutral site game that is only going to benefit Georgia.
Tech's administration is
It's that
Not
Greg
great.
Sankey, pulling some strings. Gotta get your SEC teams looking good.
Hey, they
know.
did get a move out of Tennessee. Tennessee's going to Georgia Tech next year now when they were supposed to.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's going to be really
I
fun.
will be going.
I think it's our first actual game next year, against a real team, is going to
Yeah.
Georgia Tech.
It is,
Yeah.
I do believe. All right, I'm going to preview a different game. This game I dedicate to the man sitting to my right, Logan Starkey. Sam Houston State faces off against MTSU at 3 o'clock on Saturday.
Let's go Blue Raiders.
Dude.
2 of the 3 worst FBS teams in the entire country. Sam Houston State miraculously beat Delaware last week somehow.
Some way. A Delaware team that is not bad.
Some way. Got
They-
outgained.
Delaware team that beat UConn.
Yeah. Delaware had 3 turnovers.
Not only that, Delaware recovered an onside kick at the end of this game, got in a field goal range. I believe it was a 39-yarder at the end, and missed it.
Oh,
They so
Brutal. But
yeah.
This is a Sam Houston State team that is on fire. Back-to-back wins for the Bearcats. Their
This is
only wins of the season.
This is like the Jets who were on a 2-game win streak going into Thursday Night Football last week. This is as good as it gets for Sam Houston.
This is the best they've looked all season, by far, beating Oregon State in the Jack Glennon's school is terrible bowl, and beating Delaware last week, who's new to the FBS level. And then they have to go to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, to face off against the mighty Blue Raiders. who
okay.
are definitely the second worst team in
now,
FBS.
now that Sam Houston has won twice, yes. It seems inevitable that MTSU will be firing Derek Mason at this point. They've let a wide receivers coach go. They've let an offensive line coach go. Last week, they played without starter Nicholas Vadiato. It was Roman Gagliano, who looked really good. The completion percentage wasn't great, but they were playing a Western Kentucky team. It was 2 red zone turnovers,
Western
I believe.
Kentucky teams are
Dude, they aired out.
pretty good.
Again, just a reminder, Western Kentucky's Bailey Zappi holds the all-time single-season passing record.
If you want to know what kind of offense they run,
Yeah,
there you go.
it's air it out, super air raid heavy. But, Gagliano looked fine against Western Kentucky. I would imagine if Vadiato is healthy, he will be the starter. Gagliano had almost 400 passing yards, though. He had 82 on the ground. My buddy is, again, I mentioned this last week, but he's the lead sports editor for their student newspaper. And he sent me a clip. Gagliano broke a sack, broke another sack. So twice on one play, broke a sack, got out of the pocket, scrambled for 30 yards, and broke 7 tackles in one play. It is one of the most impressive runs I've seen from a quarterback in a long time.
I'm sure all 40 fans in attendance really enjoyed that play.
I'm gonna get the
dude,
official
this is a
stat on
rivalry
that
game.
one.
They have a rivalry. It's called the 100 Miles of Hate.
I did
This is
know that.
it's great.
I did know that.
This is a rivalry game that obviously WKU just dominates this story. Even MTSU had Kevin Byard and Richie James, 2 solid NFL players on their roster. I think WKU beat them by 30 that year. So, yeah, but it's a rivalry game that MTSU is coming off of. One that the scoreboard is a lot worse than it says. It was 42-26 was the final, but it was really the fourth quarter made it look a lot worse than it was. It was 28-26 at 28-23 at the start of the fourth. Just a brutal loss for MTSU, who's now facing the hottest team in the country. It's Sam Houston.
I do think MTSU gets their second win of the season here, Logan. I think they can do it. I think the Sam Houston State defense is that bad.
So bad.
Dude,
It's so bad.
Sorry to
Hey, they got the home field advantage too.
sorry
I
to
need
the
to
friends down in Huntsville, Texas. Your football team is bad.
listen. For the sake of, I really think it would be nice for MTSU to win a game in Conference USA play this year. I really am rooting for them. I'm not gonna lie, I'd take Sam Houston. Sam Houston's defense is bad. MTSU's has a good defensive line, and then everything else is terrible. They've got a decent receiving core. Their quarterback's been inconsistent this year.
I will say also, based off of what you just told me and the stats from the Western Kentucky game, that offense is so much better than Sam Houston State's offense,
Yes,
too.
I agree, but
And it's at home. You got to
Yeah.
trust in your team, Logan.
okay. At home in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, there is going to be 30 people there, man, and most of them will be family members of whoever the starting quarterback is.
Hey, you discount Murfreesboro a little bit.
A little bit, admittedly, there
Maybe
is
100.
a weirdly
Maybe 100
strong donor group for MTSU.
Yeah.
Not
Like-
enough to keep their uniforms, apparently.
No, see, okay, so and it was a big. They could have afforded to keep them, but they didn't want to for the sake of NIL money, which they wouldn't admit out. At least Derek Mason wouldn't admit it out loud. He bold-faced lied to reporters and said it's not about NIL. It's just a team decision. But he's lying so much. But yeah, they did it for NIL. Their GM or whatever his official title is admitted that. But they've got weirdly great alumni. I'm not sure if the former NFL players are donating to the team. I would imagine not. But Hardy, the country star, went there, and Taylor Swift's original country music agent went to school at MTSU, and those are guys who are constantly involved in stuff on campus. Their military center is sponsored by the guy who sings "Devil Went Down to Georgia." So
Charlie Daniels.
Charlie Daniels. There we go. That's the name I was looking for.
Yep.
So they have a weirdly rich donor group
Yeah,
that really cares about 1 in 9 MTSU.
MTSU's got a bunch of students. I want to say it's one of the largest student population in Tennessee. I might be wrong, but there's it's
I would
40,
imagine
50K. It's a huge commuter school.
Yeah, UTK
Over 20,000 students.
20,000. So we've got
Okay,
32,000.
yeah, I
that
was
might be more.
wrong.
Is that
No,
more
we
than
have 40.
Vanderbilt? Oh, is it up to 40? It was 30.
We're
My
up to
dad.
40.
It was 33, I think,
Like
my
easy.
freshman year. So
Yeah.
I'm a senior now, so that
Oh,
so they do keep going like, yeah, we
Bunk
got
over here.
more numbers
Yeah.
than ever.
All right, we've invested a lot of time into MTSU.
As we
have
should.
one more thing to say, Camden.
not MTSU, but I'm looking at this Western Kentucky team. 8-2, 6-1 in the CUSA. If they go to Death Valley and win this week, and then beat,
Oh no way! I'm sorry.
It's the
and
TJ
No.
Finley Bowl.
and then
No. No,
and then beat Jacksonville State
no,
next week, and then again in the CUSA championship. Is there any?
no.
Okay,
Conversation
okay.
for
I
them?
will say this: if Tulane loses another game, if James Madison loses a game, WKU.
If North Texas loses another game,
I would take WKU with a win over Jack State and a win over Kennesaw State over all the rest of those teams if they lose another game. But they have to lose another one.
FIU loss is horrible.
Oh yeah, no, FIU's bad.
FIU's not good. Very
But like
not good.
Jack State
They
and
lost to
Jack
Toledo.
State
Toledo's
and
not
Kennesaw
good.
State are two of the better G5 programs.
True. Toledo's not very good either. They lost to Toledo at the beginning of the year in a weird conference clash of Conference USA and MAC. That's very weird on September 6th.
I wouldn't be surprised Kentucky and Ohio if that's something that's like historically relevant. They
no
do,
clue.
their smaller conferences love doing like weird
They
mismatch
do.
rivalry stuff.
Well, that's also conference realignment. But
True.
all right, moving on.
Sorry.
New game. Eli, do you have a game for us this upcoming week?
I mean, I think big one for me is USC Oregon.
Yeah.
Obviously, game day. Big game for basically everybody else. So I think this USC team, I don't discredit Lincoln Riley's ability to recruit talent. Mayava is a really, really good quarterback. Oregon, unfortunately, is not as good as I'd hoped. After beating Penn State, turns out, Penn State's frauds. Oregon's looking a little shaky. Lost to Indiana at home. But listen, Indiana might be a great team. This is one of those games I'm kind of torn. I really think USC could go in there and win. I think they got the talent to do it. But, I mean, at this point, it's at home. Dan Lanning's the man. Like I said, my eyes are on that game. I think, if USC could win, all of a sudden they're, probably top 10, at least top 12 at least. Like, that's, where they came from, that's pretty big.
And this Oregon team has looked skeptical at times this season. Early in that Penn State game, they did not look great. Against Iowa, which granted the conditions of that game were bad, they did not look great. So, they lost to Indiana at home. They didn't look great against Wisconsin. It's definitely it's a winnable game for
Yeah.
USC.
No, I would not be
It's
surprised
winnable.
if USC wins.
But their two losses this season are on the road against, at the time, ranked opponents to Notre Dame and Illinois, who has since had a terrible season. But I as much as I would like for USC to go in there and expose the Ducks as frauds, I just can't see it happening. I think Oregon at Autzen Field is a very, very tough team to beat. We talked about this last week, I believe, Logan.
Mm-hmm.
Last year's national champs struggled to win. Did they win or did they lose? No, they lost to Oregon.
Yeah, they
They
in the regular
lost to
season
Oregon
they lost
in
to
the
Oregon.
That Will Howard play.
the Will Howard
Yeah.
slide. I
Slide.
mean,
Yeah.
we've been seeing this. Indiana going in and beating them there
Yeah.
was very impressive and has not happened in a long time. And I don't think that they're going to let that streak continue. I just can't see it from the Stan Lanning coach team. I don't know if Dante Moore is going to have a fantastic game, but
Oh,
I just-
it's a Lincoln Riley defense. He will.
I
I
wasn't going
hate
to say it.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say it myself.
That was my next one. I can't trust a Lincoln Riley defense.
No.
Yeah,
They're just-
no.
Never have been able to produce anything in big games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to assume they're going to perform bad until they prove otherwise.
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley coach, go back to those Oklahoma teams.
Mhm.
Goodness gracious. I mean, what a 180 that Oklahoma, Brett Venables Oklahoma versus Lincoln Riley Oklahoma. I mean, like I said, Lincoln Riley, they're going to throw the ball out there. My thing is in college game day, if the Oregon student misses the kick, USC is going to win. I'm telling you right now.
Do you care to explain, or is
Listen,
that just it?
It's one of those things. I've noticed it a couple times this year. You look at the Tennessee-Georgia game. Tennessee student missed the kick. Georgia won.
This is my favorite take.
Oregon, Indiana. Oregon student missed the kick. Indiana won. I'm just saying.
Hey,
This is the
and most of the,
greatest.
I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm looking at the Alabama game. The student, she technically didn't make the kick, but she won the money.
Oh,
The
yeah, they did
Vanderbilt
give her money.
kid made the kick. The
Yeah.
Texas Tech guy made the kick. I'm just saying, it's a big indicator who's going to win. I'm telling you. It's something I've noticed the past couple of weeks. You might think I'm crazy. Come back to me when USC wins the game after Oregon student misses the kick.
I will see that the Tennessee person was also the second person chosen because the
That is
first
true.
person didn't have their ID on them.
Yeah. Or no, they did
No,
have
I
their
didn't- I
ID,
didn't
but
know
they
that.
weren't
No,
old
they
enough.
they weren't old enough.
Oh,
They were 17.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
They had their ID, but
man.
they were not
I bet
of
I bet
age.
that kid was probably like a soccer star.
That
he
would
could have
have
drilled it.
Max
100%.
Gilbert would have made his field goal.
That's what I'm saying.
And, like-
definitely better than the kid who did get chosen.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And
I know that kid.
also in the case of Vandy, they literally had tryouts all week. They
Yeah.
Vandy sent their kicker
Listen.
out there, was like, go teach people how to kick. We want to make
The game day kick sets the tone. I'm telling you. I'm big into baseball. I'm one of those kind of like feel guys. The kick, for whatever reason, this year has had such a big weight on the outcome of the games. It's totally not correlated at all, and I'm totally just making it up. But I'm telling you,
I love it.
Oregon student misses a kick, USC will win.
baseball is a very superstitious sport, so I
It
see where
very
he gets
much
it
so
from.
is.
Very superstitious.
But yeah, I think the main thing here to me is like if it's a shootout, if it's which offense is better, USC wins. So it's on Oregon's defense because USC's defense isn't going to stop Oregon. So it's going to rely on the defense of Oregon because passing leader for that game, like the guy with the most passing yards coming into the game, Maava. Miller is the leading rusher for both teams coming into the game. Mekhi Lemon, obviously, the leading receiver. And I believe the case is true that those are all three the leading touchdowns for people appearing in this game, at least. So, the USC offense is just better across the board. I think they have a better offensive line, too, personally. So it's just going to come down to, can the Oregon defense go out there and win? I think they can, but I lean USC still. I think the offense is just too good.
I would lean Oregon just based on the fact that I just don't think USC's defense is good enough. Oregon, yes, their offense has looked skeptical, but it's like their defense will be able to stop USC enough times to where their offense will be able to outscore.
I agree.
USC.
I definitely agree. I don't want to talk about this game. I want to float the idea of this game. A&M at home versus a terrible opponent
Versus
versus Sanford at home. We've seen it happen before.
No, shut it down. Shut it
We've
down.
seen it happen before.
It's SEC
I'm kidding.
Cupcake Week. We don't need to talk about that.
For pretty much everybody but Tennessee, the game I actually want to talk about, the Vols. Obviously, where all of us go to school, face off against 3-7 Florida in the swamp.
We're gonna lose.
Yeah,
There is not much confidence on Rocky Top regarding this game. And for good reason. They haven't won in the swamp since 2003.
Were any of us alive the last time they won? I was born in 04. So
I was born 05.
none of us were alive the last time Tennessee decided to win in Gainesville.
That's just
So
insane.
This is, I will say, the best opportunity they've had in years to go
Yeah,
and win in
sure.
the swamp. This is a Florida team that has looked downright atrocious. DJ Lagway has had so many turnover problems this year. So many turnover problems. But
More
he,
touchdowns.
yes, he's coming off probably his best game of potentially one of his best games of the year last week, where he only threw one touchdown. Or only threw one touchdown and one interception. So he limited the turnovers. Did Florida? No, they gave
lost
they
to
gave
Ole
Ole
Miss.
Miss they
They gave
gave
Ole Miss a
Ole
fight.
Miss a little bit of a fright for a second in the battle of Lane Kiffin and
Lane
his
Kiffin
future
ball.
job. But I'm still stuck on that. I just don't. I can't see a universe where Tennessee goes into the swamp and comes out with the win that they feel good about.
No,
Yeah.
no.
yeah, I think that the slight slimmer of hope that I have for Tennessee is that Florida has played to their competition all year. other than Miami, all of these games are relatively close. They beat Texas by 1 score, lost to LSU by 10, lost to USF by 2. But the point being, like, when they play a good team, they actually play relatively well. But when they play a bad team, they play really badly. So I think, like,
Are you saying we're a bad team?
no,
Wait,
I'm saying
Tennessee's bad team.
I'm
The
saying
20th
that
ranked Volunteers.
What? Does not deserve that.
I'm saying that the defense is bad. So
Defense is
Florida's offense is
atrocious.
probably going to
Yeah.
look pretty good. The bright side is I think that Florida's defense will play down because of how great Tennessee's offense is. So I think what I'm telling you is because Florida likes to decide to play in these terrible games where somehow they're always close, I think that gives you hope in the fact that, like, Tennessee's just a better team, and typically the better team wins those. Like the better team wins those 1-score games more often than not. Florida's been in so many of them this year. That's probably why they got the upset over Texas. But, like, a 4-point loss to Georgia, 2-point win against Mississippi State. Like, when you're in that many close games, you're going to win 1 or 2. And, like, I mean,
and realistically, they should not have won that Mississippi State game. We've talked about this
Yeah.
before.
realistically,
that was bad.
I just wish we could have flipped the Ole Miss and Kentucky games. If they had played Ole Miss that well, and then the week before playing us, they lost by 30 to Kentucky, I would feel a lot better.
Yeah. I can see it in my head, the vision of Harrison Bailey
Oh man.
If Harrison Bailey comes into the
comes
game,
in due to a DJ Lagway and whoever the backup is injury and just dominating the Vols. And I see it, and I want to throw up everywhere.
Dude, Harrison Bailey's going to be like 25. He's been around forever.
He's in his last season of college football, obviously very highly ranked recruit, one of the best quarterbacks in Georgia high school history. Comes to the Vols, does nothing. I see Logan looking up his stats. But I can see the vision of him coming out there. I don't think he's going to play, but I really do not want him to get a win over Tennessee when he's in Gainesville on that Florida Gator team. That
would be classic, though. I mean,
It'll be
it would
pure
be very
Vol.
Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm about to say
It'd
that
be
would
all
be
Vol.
just insane.
Okay, this is, and not that I think there's a big overarching point to this game outside of just like Tennessee loses in Florida. This is one of the bigger games of the Heupel era to me, in the sense that, like, you have carried on the tradition of losing these games. You can't beat Georgia. You can't beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. You can beat them here, which is more than you could say about any Tennessee coach in a long time, but you can't beat them in Tuscaloosa. Losing these rivalry games away has been a big problem in the Tennessee era, or the Heupel era at Tennessee. So, like, I think that's where a lot of the negativity comes from. In theory, we should blow the doors off of them, right?
In theory.
In theory, we should. Like, on paper, this shouldn't be close. It's a rivalry game. It's at the Swamp. Heupel doesn't do well in away rivalry games. And, like, there's just that fact of, like, Florida's still a talented team. You watch them week to week, and it's like, if Lagway puts it together, there's really not something that's a glaring issue. It's just like Lagway's been so inconsistent. The running game's good. The receivers good. The lines are good. The defense is great, I think.
Yeah.
Really, really good defense. It's just like most of the issues have revolved around coaching, play calling, and Lagway. So, like, it's not an easy game whatsoever. And, like,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I think the one thing that I personally don't like, I don't like the fact that we're favored. I know that we are technically the better team, but it's the Swamp. It's a night game. We started as 3.5-point favorites, and it's gone up to 4.5-point
Oh,
favorites.
God.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Oh,
It,
no.
it going
Really
up,
bad.
it going up makes me feel so much worse.
Yeah,
I can just-
exactly.
No.
I can
That's what
picture it. Close game going into the fourth quarter. I won't back down goes on. The Swamp is rocking. Like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? It's
Max
just,
Gilbert, game-winning
oh
kick.
my, I have a bad
Off
feeling.
the goalpost.
I have a bad feeling about Tennessee.
I'm telling you
man.
right now, if we get to won't back down in a one-score game, it's over.
That's what I'm saying.
We're cooked.
It's over.
Yeah.
I want to touch on something you said earlier, Logan, is Heupel's lost these games. I think the biggest reason why this year it is so important to beat Florida in the Swamp is that your former offensive coordinator went in there with the group of 5 team and did it.
Oh, yeah.
Early in the season with USF and Alex Golish. I think Alex Golish winning in the Swamp before Heupel did as a head coach, if he doesn't back that up and they both win it in the same season, there needs to be some serious conversations because this is by far the worst Florida's looked in a long time. I'm not saying fire Heupel. Do not misquote me. I am not saying fire Heupel. I am saying there needs to be conversations regarding potentially play calling allocations and clock management time. Just something needs to be said. Tim Banks has obviously got to go. I've been on this train for 4 years now.
And
he has got to be fired.
And the
special teams coordinator has got to go. But conversations regarding Heupel himself and his duties on this with this football team have to be.
Halsley's got to go.
Yeah,
Bring
he's
Golish back.
If he's not calling plays, what is Halsley doing on a day-to-day basis? Like, I wish someone would explain to me what offensive coordinators who don't call plays do, because I really don't.
Texas.
Yeah, somebody. That's probably one of those like football for dummies thing you should know, but like
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to me because like that's the main job of an offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
is run practice, get everybody
I understand they still run practice, they still run drills, they focus on areas that the coach wants improved, but like if he's not doing anything on game day, like as far as play calling goes, why is he even on the team? We're probably paying him millions of dollars.
Yeah. He's also a quarterback coach, so if you want to critique any quarterback stuff.
You mean like the fact that since Hendon left, we've had one guy who can't do anything but overthrow receivers. And one guy who can't do anything but underthrow them and run the ball whenever he gets any sense of pressure.
And one guy
and now a guy who decides that every time.
CTE.
Yeah.
Now Joey just forces balls into tight windows every chance he gets.
A guy you can put down 2 picks a game for. You know?
Yeah,
I'm not
win or lose.
I called it last week that he was going to go through 2 picks against New Mexico State, and lo and behold.
Yeah, that is right now how Joey's looked is the biggest thing for me going into this game. Florida's defense is good. We all agreed on that. Joey has had 3 straight bad games.
Yeah.
Like terrible against Alabama. I don't know what the stats say. He was bad, threw a pick 6 that lost him the game. I understand it was a one-read play call. Just don't throw the ball to him. I'd rather you throw it out of bounds and get the intentional grounding and just go to half without the 6 going the other way. Oklahoma, just terrible.
Oh, my gosh.
Again, I don't remember what the stats were like. He was bad.
And
terrible.
then New Mexico State, he didn't even look good.
Look like New Mexico State is the game that those are the type of games SEC teams schedule at the end of the year to be like, hey, we might have a guy in a Heisman race. Let's go pad his stats real quick. And Joey had 1 touchdown and 2 picks.
Yeah. The backups didn't get much play, haven't gotten much playing time either this year. And it's like, I understand it. I understand it in these games. But, I mean, at halftime, I was done with Joey. I was like, I want to see Jake Merklinger or George McIntyre. That I need to have some confidence that these guys can go out and look good because Joey hasn't. Yeah. Anyway, I feel like that's enough talking about those. You have one last point, Camden.
One last point. If Tennessee loses this game and then loses to Vanderbilt at home, is there any I know we're not saying no.
It's not fire Heupel, but he is on a burning seat.
I will say I think the conversation has started within the fan base at least. I don't think any of us genuinely believes the Heupel should be gone now,
unless your name is Jack Glennon.
Yeah, well, me and Jack have tempered down on it a little bit. I think because I was kind of with him at first. I think I was overreacting a little bit in the moment, but I this is such an important game for him in the sense of dude, the fans are already growing restless. It's the same thing every year, same mistakes. It's always play calling. It's always and it's at a certain point, he's the one responsible for hiring these coordinators who don't do anything or are actively a negative asset to the team. So, if Banks and Halsley are here next year, I think that is a huge indictment on Heupel as a coach.
Yeah. Absolutely, too much loyalty. I want to end the show with a brief discussion about the first move in the coaching carousel that happened. Former Penn State head coach James Franklin gets hired to Virginia Tech. What are y'all's thoughts?
I think that move could not make more sense. I think that's the perfect place for him to go. I think that now that they have a coach that they might trust a little more, I think the donors will be happy to have him there. I think they'll be writing a lot of checks for NIL to go out and get players.
Mm-hmm.
I think that. Do I think he's going to absolutely turn around this program? Probably not. But I think he'll do just enough to where he'll get his name back on the big stage after 3, 4, 5 years. And I think we'll see James Franklin on another high, somewhat like notable program before he's done forever.
Yeah, I mean, all the headlines, I read an article yesterday. Basically, this is how I feel. But James Franklin is really good at building a team, but he can't get past that. So it's like, you know, if you're Virginia Tech, like, I mean, let's not forget, like, Virginia Tech has a great pedigree. You know, like Frank Beamer, you know, they are historically a great team. You know, it's like you get James Franklin to rebuild your team. It's like 5 years from now, get rid of him. Bring in somebody else, you know, somebody who can actually win the games. That's a crazy take. Doesn't make any sense. But that's where I am. It's like James Franklin, like, he's a great coach, great at building a roster, but, like, he's hardly ever proven that he can get over the hump.
Yeah, I agree. I think the big thing that neither of you guys had noted is that Virginia is very close to Pennsylvania, which was the best recruiting site for James Franklin. And, like, I think the recruiting ties there are a huge, huge, huge benefit to him and Virginia Tech while he's there. A lot of Penn State players decommitted. I'm not saying all of them are going to end up going to Virginia Tech. I bet a bunch of them do. You're not going to play many top 10 games in the ACC.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're just not. And, like, if those are the games he can't win, cool. When the cutoff is number 11, he's pretty good at beating number 11 teams. He did that quite a bit, which is why they cut it off at top 10. But, like, I don't think James Franklin is the kind of guy that's going to win a national championship. I do think he's the kind of guy who can go out and win 2 or 3 ACC championships in a row. Because, like, I mean, the competition is just not as steep in the ACC. He has, even if you're playing like a top 10 ranked Georgia Tech, you got a better chance of beating them than being a top 10 ranked Ohio State or Oregon. Like, he's playing much higher level teams with bigger talent depths in the Big Ten, or he was, and now he's going to a lower tier conference with all the money in the world, a great pedigree, as you mentioned. He's a great recruiter. He's already going into the tradition. He called Frank Beamer to ask if he was okay with him taking the job.
I was going to touch on that.
So, like, I mean, like, the tradition aspect, I think James Franklin is great at, which also helps with recruiting. I don't think this is a national championship program in 5 years, but I think this is a team that will have a playoff appearance by the end of those 5 years.
I agree for sure that James Franklin is more of a builder. This is not his first time in the state of Virginia. While coaching, he coached with James Madison for a year in 1997. But for me, the thing is the pedigree, as you said. Virginia Tech has had that history of being great, but never being able to get over the hump. That is why I feel like this is a perfect hire. In your best days of football under Frank Beamer, you were never able to win a national championship. I wouldn't expect to win a national championship under James Franklin, but he is going to give it a good run at trying to get there with the teams he's going to assemble. Starting fresh, especially at quarterback, is going to be I want to go see who he picks up. That is going to be so interesting for me because Kyron Jones is done after this year. He's a senior.
I've heard that Sam Leavitt might be that guy.
Yeah.
That would be something. That's why I'm saying it's going to be very interesting to see because after Kyron Jones, who's been the Hokies starting quarterback for several years now, whoever's next is going to be James Franklin's guy, and that's going to determine how his tenure as a Hokie go, in my mind. Well, if nobody else has any other comments on this. No?
No.
That'll do it for this week's episode of Blue Chip Recruits. Almost messed it up. Almost messed up my own podcast intro. That'll do it for the Blue Chip Recruits episode this week. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening. Peace.